adventure. Now there are others, however, who are much more introverted and quiet and analytical in their style. And as a matter of fact, being in a crowd literally wears them out. They do their best communicating one-to-one. Just sit down with somebody at coffee or something like that. Still, there are other people who love to throw themselves into projects, especially if he or she can be the leader of that project. They're strong-willed, they're extrovert, they're optimistic, they're adventuresome, and nothing frightens them. And then, of course, along with that, there are yet others who are more quiet by nature, more easygoing, more practical, more hesitant to get involved with others and their projects. They just go to work every day, do their job. They don't make waves. They try never to be in the spotlight and avoid responsibility any way they can. And they usually end up the vice president of the corporation. And so we have all these, the reason I'm saying that is because we have all these different personality types. We're all quite different. We're all unique. Stir into this mix some other things like, and I've talked about this before, I'm just going to hit it quick, okay? Our family origin, how we were brought up, our circumstances. And I'm going to quote to you again something that amazes me, and that is that no matter how many children you have in your family, every one of those children were brought up in a different family. Because every family changes a little bit when a new one is stirred in. And then, of course, along with that, we have different interests. We have gifts, talents, abilities that God has given to us. Even when you read the Bible, you can see the effect of all these different variables in people. Some are rather quiet and behind the scenes, soft-spoken. Others are kind of loud and blustery, strong-willed, natural leaders, and much more. And what I notice is that each person shares their faith in their own way. And so that leads me to what I want to talk about today. Because of our different temperaments, and because of our different lifestyles and backgrounds and all of that, some people, it is easier to share our faith with some people than others. Personality-wise, temperament-wise, I am not naturally drawn to certain people. That doesn't mean I won't love them. It doesn't mean that I can't converse with them and minister to them. I can do business with them. It's just that certain people's temperaments and personalities and lifestyles don't mesh. There's a conflict there sometimes. And stir into that fact that also some people prejudge us Christians. Some people already have it in their mind that who we are before they even meet us. And other times we prejudge them, by the way, just in case you think they're the only ones being judgmental. Think back about some people that you've met over the years that you thought that person was one kind of person, and when you got to know them, they were quite the opposite of what you thought. Can you think of somebody like that? A lot of times that's true. And then, of course, you run into people who really have toxic ideas about Christians. And we who are in the organized religions and religious types, they just don't want to be around you. They pre-program their mind to say, oh, he's that kind of a person. And because of this, we have a real dilemma sometimes knowing exactly how to share our faith. And I entitled this message today, sharing the unique way of sharing my faith with others. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. Now, I'll tell you something interesting to me. My wife is far more aggressive in her witnessing than I am. Now, you normally think of sweet little quiet Cheryl. And she goes in, I mean, you talk about a bold witness. I mean, there's times when she starts witnessing to somebody, and I'm just sitting back absolutely amazed. Because she is such, and not pushy and not obnoxious, I'm not saying that. But I mean, I would take a long, long time to get to know somebody and kind of find out where they're coming from and everything. Not Cheryl, bam! Right on. She hits it right on. So we sometimes have trouble sharing our faith if we just look at our natural temperament. Some people are naturally shy, introverted, and don't want to get into conflict. Or they might feel in some cases they don't know enough to witness. And so they'll say, well, I just don't know the Bible enough. Or others are afraid of being mocked or rejected. And I guess the saddest of all are those people that feel like their life is not where it should be, therefore they can't witness. Well, you know, I want to address that for a second. I want to tell you this. Nothing will motivate you to live the Christian life like a desire to witness for the Lord. I'm going to say that again. Nothing will motivate you to live a dedicated Christian life like a desire to be a witness for the Lord. Let me give you an example. There was this fellow that was a member of my church a long time ago in a distant galaxy far away, who told me, he says, I don't put any Christian bumper stickers on my car because he says, I don't always drive like a Christian, and therefore I don't want to have a sticker on my car. And I'll never forget, I looked him in the eye and I said, brother, put the sticker on your car and drive like a Christian. You know, put that bumper sticker on. Wear that Christian symbol. You can't hide when you're in the Christian army. You know, you have to be, I think that you have to step out and be who God has called you to be. God says in Acts 1:8, you will be my witness. He didn't say you will witness. He said you will be my witness. And we need to get past all this stuff about, well, I just don't think I'm able to do that or something. Because I'll tell you something that I've learned in pastoral counseling between husbands and wives. The longer you put off sharing in your family, the longer you put off sharing what's going on that isn't right, the more power it gets in your life. And the bigger the obstacle gets. Until finally there's this explosion and it all comes out when it could have been settled so easily up front. Now the reason I say that is because the longer you put off being a witness for the Lord, the harder it is. The longer you don't talk about Jesus, the more power that fear gets in your life. And so, even though some people are easier to share their faith with than others, we have to step out of that comfort zone and just tell the truth. Ephesians says, speak the truth in love. That doesn't mean, I've never considered witnessing grabbing somebody by the shirt and saying, are you saved? And here, brother, read this. I don't see Christianity like that. But I do see it like this, being sensitive to the Holy Spirit. And when God puts someone in your presence that you know needs the Lord, and you don't say something, man, the devil's going to whip you, and you're going to feel so beaten down by that it's going to ruin your ability to witness for Christ. Now, I'm going to tell you something today that I truly believe is true. I believe many people, more than we realize, are open to and want to hear about the Lord. I believe people are searching for God. I'm seeing people saved all the time. And we're a relatively small church in a relatively small community. But I've seen hungry hearts searching for God. Why are people so hungry? Well, obviously, number one,